welcome to another episode of Recipe to Success. Today, this is a personal one. I think you're all going to benefit from this, and this is someone I've known, I think, over 5 years now.
Bruv. Long, man.
And even before I knew him personally, I've had the honour of knowing him personally, but even before I knew him personally, I was listening to his music and all that stuff as a young kid, and I know personally that he has so much value to give. So before we go into the episode, be sure to subscribe. Let's get into it. Mumsy, how are you?
Let's go. I'm cool, my bro. I'm blessed.
Everything good?
Yeah, man. Whoa, we're in a mad time, bro.
That's it.
How you been? You good?
Yeah, I mean, just obviously at the end of the day, you can't stay stagnant. So obviously that's why we're trying to create content right now and
100%.
help people whilst we are in this time. But in terms of everything that's been going on, how has 2020 been? And the start of 2021, we just started, but how's it been?
Do you know what? It's been a journey, man. Like, I don't know, I'm sure it's been a journey for everyone, but for me, like, and I'll just briefly touch on it, like last year, let's say 2020, yeah? So, bro, 2020, January, I think I entered with a lot of music, from releasing an album to then touring. I was like, it was a good vibe, like January, February, good vibe. I think I was in Morocco, then went to LA, and then in March, I was in New York. And this is true story, no lie. Man's in New York. I was in Jay-Z club watching an MMA fight. I had a show. And bro, I get a phone call from the UK saying, yo, we're on lockdown. All the tissue's finished. All this is done. Everyone's killing each other in supermarkets. Can you get some sanitizer? Can you get all this stuff? Like, bring it on the way. I'm like, and I'm here in America thinking, what?
Well, it was nothing going on at that time in America when you were there.
I think it was, to be exact with a date, it was the 9th of March. And I think the 12th of March or something, everything went mad.
Mm-hmm.
Fam, I was like, literally like, what do you mean? I literally caught the last flights back to the UK, like on the 13th or the 14th. And I was like, what the hell has just happened? And I think obviously the whole world was like that. But for me, especially someone who travels and someone who's always been away from home, I've always kind of been on a run, to suddenly like, I'm at home. and I was like, hold on, okay, this is cool. But it was like a shock,
Mm-hmm.
especially someone like me who out there, and a lot of people in the entertainment industry, or, any industry where you travel,
Mm-hmm.
it always comes to like, hold on, I'm actually not going nowhere now, I'm like at home.
Mm-hmm.
So there was that end of the shock. But then there was a lovely, like,
silver lining,
reset button.
Yeah.
Like, for me, that reset button, I didn't realize how important it was until we actually just sat down as a family.
Mm-hmm.
My kids, my wife, sat down, and at that point, everyone was just. I felt like I was talking to people that I don't talk to on the regs. Like just.
Yeah, you kind of neglect them sometimes.
Kind of, bro, 100%. Neglect, and I'm not saying I neglect my kids or my wife, but I'm just saying
you can always give more time.
It's that quality time. And I felt like in March, as much as we were in a pandemic and the whole world shut down, I felt like that connection with my family and that connection with my children, the connection with my siblings, and just generally that started like bonding. I think it was Eid. I think that was the first COVID Eid, and fam, I was like, what? Barbecue in the house, all sorts of crazy stuff, and it was nice, and so it's weird. I can't even explain it. It's more like it's that state of shock,
Mm-hmm.
music, money, income, business, the world,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's that state of comfort. Okay, it's nice, man. It's nice to be at home.
Mm-hmm.
So it's weird.
Just adapting to a whole new reality.
That's the best way I can explain it. You know,
Yeah,
because we're still in it.
Mm-hmm.
So. It's mad.
I kind of missed the whole point where we go through, who Mumsy is. And, for me, I think I wanted to understand, how lockdown was for you. But I think a lot of people watching this or listening to this will definitely have seen you at some point, because your tenure in your career has been so long. You've been someone that stayed relevant over the years. But just in case there's anyone that's watching, maybe they haven't seen you before, how would you actually introduce yourself?
At this current time,
just the whole
generally. Well, first of all, I'm based in East London. I'm a British Bangladeshi, born my style of music is R&B, soulful, bashment, and now I can add desi.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So I would say artist, producer, entrepreneur,
I would say artist. I would
comedian in real life.
Bruv, I would leave the entrepreneur out. I would like put that to the.
No, but the thing is, you know what it is. I have always known this about you, is that you've always known the business side of things, of music. And I think a lot of people, they don't. They're just the artist. They're just the talent, but they don't really understand everything behind it. But we'll obviously go into it.
Yeah.
That's your introduction per se. So now that we kind of have got that out of the way, I want to start with the upbringing, because obviously we'll go into the journey and how you actually got to where you got to at the start. But what was your upbringing like?
You know what? My upbringing was, first of all, it was very educational, and it was very, how to explain it, cultural, I would say the correct word. Because I was born in, East London, originally Tower Hamlets, for those who don't know. Moved to Plaistow, and obviously being in Plaistow, man, for those who don't know, it's very multicultural. You've got Bengalis, Pakistanis, Indians, Gujaratis, Jamaicans, Greeks, Italians. Like, I was brought up with such a huge cultural upbringing, and that is what drew me to music. Like, it was obviously my older brother, he was a DJ, and he had all the connects, like, in terms of he was in there with his friends when I was really, really young, and he had decks in his room. So I was like, yo, let me see what he's up to. And naturally, when you've got older siblings, they listen to music, and my sister and my other brother, they'll be into Bollywood music. Everyone's into Bollywood. Don't matter where you're from. So for me, it was a balance of, like, back in my time, jungle, reggae, R&B, then you had Bollywood, and a bit of Bhangra, but not really Bhangra, more Bollywood. And it was all that kind of, like, drawed me to music. And obviously being a Muslim, Bengali as well, that was where it was like, yo, it's a no-go area. It don't matter what you do, who you are, that's a no-go area. And for me, I felt that was a barrier, because at that time, I liked music. I wanted to make music, and I had friends.
How old were you at this point?
I would say about 15, 14, around that time. And I'm talking, just showing an interest. Obviously I had an interest way before that.
But to pursue it as for yourself?
Not even pursue, more like break rules. I would say 14, I was like, yo, shall I, like, go to my friend's studio? My local Jamaican friend. Shall I go and check his studio out and maybe come home an hour later? Breaking barriers. I think it was at that time, I was like, yeah, I was more drawn towards it, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And it was for me, bro. Come on, I couldn't come home with a keyboard, and not even come home, but I couldn't afford a keyboard and a mic and these things that a lot of people had who were born into music, or not even born into music. It's not really fair to say, but people who just didn't have the support. Like, for me, I didn't have anyone. Like, I was like, yo, am I the only Bengali that kind of, like, is into music like that? And you'd fit that naturally if you don't have a role model. Or
it was a different time, completely different time,
100%.
Especially for eventually the Asian music that you went into. But generally for music itself, it was a whole different ballgame.
Jungle garage days, yeah. But for me, I couldn't even, like, it wasn't even like that. It wasn't even, there was no helping hand, and I felt that's where I come back to the cultural side of things. And it was my friends who, helped me and showed me the way. Yo, come to my studio, man. Like, check out this. And I'll be like, oh, that's a keyboard. Yo, that's a mic. Picked up Fruity Loops, picked up Cubase. For those who don't know, they're musical programs that we use. But yeah, it's like the knowledge. It was the knowledge that really helped me. And talent is talent. Anyone who's talented, like, if you're born with a talent, that's your given right. That's something that you ever build and make it yours, or you just forget about it.
But at that time, did you know you had talent?
You know what? I didn't know I had talent. I just knew I loved it. I knew that I could do it. When you're like, yo, I can kick ball. I'm good at this. Them ones, like, for me, it was like that. I was like, yeah, I'm good at this. I enjoy it. And I felt that the more I did it, the better I
you would get.
became at it. And obviously it wasn't allowed. Like I said before, it was tough, man. Like, and trust me, I wasn't, you know, and I say this straight, the Asians that we are today, not the Asians we were then, fam. Like, then you had a side parting and you could tell, yo, that brother's Bengali. You know them ones, like, yo, that brother's Bengali, like, you can tell. But like I said, for me, man, it was a nice and difficult upbringing. I did feel there was a massive barrier at the time. Like I said, I wasn't born into Bollywood. I wasn't born into hip hop. I wasn't born into anything. You know, this is something I just picked up and I worked hard, you know, and I was pushing. I was like, nah, man, I can do this. I don't care where I'm from. And that's the best way for me to explain where I am today. I just pushed and I pushed and I pushed, you know, and that's how you got to treat anything.
And then where did it go from there? Because obviously, you know, you were quite alone. Your brother was a DJ, but at the same time, you didn't know the blueprint.
Yeah.
In fact, you were creating your own blueprint as you were going along. When did it get to a point where you had now honed into this talent, you owned it, and you now kind of saw it as this is a career path?
You know what? When I picked up some skills from loads of friends who were like doing music at the time, I picked up a lot of skills and I felt like, yo, this is actually, you know, this is it's very important for me now to make a decision. And I think a lot of people don't understand that it's a decision you make to pursue it. So for me, I made that decision.
It's also a sacrifice.
It is a sacrifice. Sacrifice, decision, risk, whatever you want to call it. And I think it was around 2000 where I was like, yo, I need to do something with this. And I think that's when I started saving up. And I still remember the first pair of speakers I bought. It was from a shop called Turnkey in Tottenham Court Road. Yeah, man. And I remember, and I was like, yo, mum, bless her, can you help me? I've got like £200. I need like £400 more. Them speakers were expensive. £600. Like, what? Speakers, £600. And they were special monitors. I was like, I need them. And my mum always helped me. Always supported me, like, behind the closed doors. Yeah, God, don't worry, your dad's not going to say nothing. I'll get it for you. You know them ones? So she helped me, and I went and picked up the monitors. And I think when I got them monitors and I got like a keyboard and my PC back then, when I started like doing it myself and making music, and that's when it really started for me, because I believed, I was like, yeah, I can do this.
Because you were not only on the actual song, but you was producing the music as well.
Yeah.
So you were doing everything from scratch.
Exactly. It was like, so I was like, I don't want to say self-taught, because a lot of people helped me like that, but yeah, I picked it up myself. So it was MySpace, that was it.
Okay.
People don't know, Google that. MySpace. It was the first social platform.
Especially big in the music industry at the time.
100%. I think it was MySpace and Fiverr? High Five, that's it, mate. I had to shake that memory.
Some people have no idea what that is.
Yeah. I uploaded a track. It was called Get to Know at that time. And one of my boys was like, yeah, put it up, man. Let's do it. It's free. Cool. Put that up, bro. Like, I'm talking, no one knew what man looked like. You know them ones?
Yeah.
No one knew me. Put that up. I think the song hit like 800k in a week. You know, like, yeah, and 1 million in like a month. It was flying. I was like, whoa, this was
when you were just by yourself, independent, completely.
I've always been independent, but I had my friends. You know? I had loads of friends, and I've always had people with me. You know, that like team players. So for me, so when I saw that, I was like, yo, this is cool, but still not professional. Yeah. So at this time, I'm talking 2002, 3, 4. It was when 2005. I think it was when I went into the competition, BBC Unsung, 2005. One of my boys, he handed in my demo without telling me. And I was like, yeah, just give me a demo. Let me put this in. I got a phone call from BBC Asia Network. I was like, BBC Asia Network, what's that? 2005. And he goes, yeah, you've been selected for a competition. And my boy's like, say yes and do it, you know, like, make it happen. So I was like, yo, okay, let's do this, man. So I went to this competition, and mate, the treatment was unreal. I was like, yo, hotel, everything. You know, like, I went to Birmingham. ticket, hotel, everything paid for. And for me, bro, coming from underground radio station like Deja Vu and, you know, Rinse FM, all these underground garage life, urban life, for me, this was like, yo, this is sick, man. You know, like,
it's a different level.
Yeah, went to the BBC Asian Network studios there. I was like, yo, this is mad. Like, proper cool. It was at that point I started meeting a lot of my own people, you know, like Asian people, Desis, and I was like, yo, there's a big platform here, man. Went for the competition. I met Bobby Friction, I remember at the time. Big up Bobby. Adil Ray, who did the interviews, and huge Punjabi Bhangra singer Shin from DCS. I met him. And then eventually, when I went for the actual competition, the judges were Rishi Rich, Adil Ray, I think it was Shin, and a guy called Nairon, who's Raghav's manager.
Okay.
And Mona Singh. She's another Punjabi singer. And bro, it was in Symphony Hall. When I performed there, I was like, the amount of like Desis and Asian people I saw, I was like, my head was gone. Now, I've never done that before.
Yeah.
And it was with a live band.
New.
Yeah, it was a live band. I performed a song called Jump Up, which was one of my old songs. And I started singing and rapping at that time together. So I kind of find that balance. Like, yo, I want to sing and I want to rap. Put that together and let's see where this goes. So for me, bro, like, it was at that point, I didn't win the competition. I didn't go there for anything anyway. So for me, I didn't even know what winning meant or losing. You know, them ones. But for me, it was an experience. And at that point, I was leaving. And it was a tough time in my life, and I'll come to that. So at that point, I was leaving. And Rishi Rich grabbed me and was like, yo, where you going, man? I'm like, I'm going back to London. I don't need to... What, I've got nothing here left. You know, he's like, nah. Get your phone out. I'm like, what? He goes, I'm going to sign you. I'm like, didn't even know what that word meant. You know them ones? So there and then, Rishi was like, yo, we're going to work. Me and you we're going to make music. And bro, that's when it started. That's when I felt the vibe. You know, like, yeah, I'll take all the credit before that. Everything I did before that to make myself the person I was, to make myself the person I was at that time, I'll take that. You know, that's the journey. But as soon as I met Rish, it was different. It was like, okay, this urban Desi world is now, yo, this is a thing. And bro, the journey just started there. And that's another chapter on its own.
Do you feel like when Rishi got involved and kind of offered you that on the spot, did it almost validate what you were doing because it was him? Like, you know, before that, you didn't really have... You obviously had friends around you and people saying, you know what, you're a great artist or you're great at production. But then someone like that, who was actually creating noise in the Asian scene at the time... Mainstream. How did that feel in that moment?
Amazing. It's a given, isn't it? Asian scene, mainstream, bro. Rishi Rich, I don't care what anyone says. He's one of the most talented producers I've worked with. He's a legend. And he's helped. Like, you got to give that man credit. He's brought a lot of people out. He's done what he has to do. And, you know the amount of artists that he's worked with. But for me, I give him credit because he wasn't my own kind. He wasn't the same as me from my country or my, you know. But he was like, yo, here's my hand. Let's work. And for me, bro, at that time, I told you, my knowledge wasn't 100% with the whole Bhangra scene and Asian network.
And it's a whole different language, by the way.
Exactly. And he brought that to me. He's like, yo, okay, you're where you are. Come, let's take it somewhere else. And he was mainstream, and he was also big in the Desi scene. So yeah, bro, it was a win for me. It was like, yo, is this happening? Of course, it validated it.
For those people that don't know who Rishi Rich is, maybe they've never heard that name.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the artists that you produce, including yourself along the way.
All right, Jay Sean, Jugni Ji, H Dami, myself, bruv. Who hasn't he worked with? Madonna, gone. Craig David.
It was, almost. I remember at that time.
Britney Spears.
I remember at that time it was like, I have this vivid memory. I remember, like, I used to listen to, I don't know if you remember Club Asia.
Of course I remember Club Asia.
So I was a kid.
Yeah.
But in the car when I used to get picked up from school, my mum used to have Club Asia on, or me and my sister used to love it. And we used to hear, like, Rishi Rich at that time, you know, any artists that were beside him, that the production was done by Rishi Rich, it was just a whole different vibe. And even to this day, I feel like it was never the same after your era, almost.
Yeah.
It obviously was a whole different scene after that,
Sure.
but that feeling was like a whole different sentimental kind of
Bro,
time.
that's life, innit? First of all, my first interview was on Club Asia in East
Wow.
London. So one of them anyway. So big them up, bro. That's given, innit? It's like Timberland. You know, Timberland sound back then it wouldn't be the same now, if that makes sense. Yes, Timberland's Timberland. He had his own style in it, his own vibe, and he still got it. Like I said, but bro, that's with everyone, innit? Like you get that vibe where people are feeling it. Then you got to reinvent yourself, and if you can't reinvent yourself, you got to find a way. You know, and that's another challenge on its own. You have to be willing to reinvent yourself. If you're not bothered, and you think that I'm the elite, and I don't ever need to reinvent myself, mate, you're gonna realize you're gonna hit a wall so hard that it's gonna be hard to even get out of that position. So it's very, very important to be able to reinvent yourself. Very.
So let's talk about that time a little bit, because at that time, I think when you were pushed by Rishi Rich and the team, it was the time where Jay Sean had been signed by Cash Money Records, and Jugni Ji had kind of faded out a little bit almost, and it was like you and H Dami that were leading his, almost from his side of the things. So let's talk about some of the success that happened at that time, because from obviously I know, you know, it was huge, but why don't you tell the audience a little bit about that time?
You know what it was? Look, let's be straight, man. Like when me and H started working with Rish, it was a vibe, you know, and I think every artist knows that when you have a duo or a group, there's gonna be another duo or there's gonna be another group. You know, it's just the way music works. At that time, Rishi had done something, and he was like, I could do this again. But the difference in this situation was obviously H was still Punjabi and I'm Bengali, so it was just a little bit more different. That was the only difference, the culture, and what I can do and what he can do, if that makes sense. But bro, it was the same person, and it was just another journey. But it was our journey. That journey was there, and at that point, I think the other artists went on their journey, and they started doing bigger things as well and better things, because they done so much for the scene anyway. Juggy, Jay, Rish, you know, and now going to me and H, mate, there was so much happening at that time. I'm talking, bro, we were traveling from Canada to Dubai.
Did you feel pressure at that time?
Of course, bro, like mega pressure, like, because we went from doing nothing to suddenly doing something. And I think H was always involved in music because of his father, Hida, they're legends. He was always involved in music. I was involved in music, but it was a different type of involvement. He was involved because his family were in music. I was involved, I was trying to learn what music is. But when we started touring, making music together, bro, it was good times, man. You know, like, it was just like another journey. And for me, especially in a Desi scene, I didn't realise worldwide how big it was. You know, the Desi urban, I didn't realise how big it was until I started travelling. Dubai, then Malaysia, bro, then India, then Canada, then America. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And, you know, and I'm talking like, this is 2005, 6, 7, not even 8 yet, which was another chapter, you know. I was like, yo, what's going on here? It was overwhelming, but it was fun. And I can't change the past, but I was learning a lot.
When did it sink in that you had become an established artist, that you were no longer the struggling musician stuck in his studio, that you were actually out there, you were actually successful, and you were actually known?
Bro, I'll be honest with you, yeah. I'm gonna reinterpret what you just said. Fam, there is no time that you feel like you're made. You know? Because music changes. Like, you gotta look at my career. Like, if I don't know how it is for someone who's here for a minute, but I've been there from cassettes to vinyl, bro. I actually dropped 2 vinyls. You know, 2 vinyls when it was dying, to cassettes, CDs. You know, I went from analog to digital. I don't know how many artists that can.
You saw some of the platforms like Fruit Loops coming about.
Yeah, bro. I went from analog to digital, and for those who don't understand that, CD to now streaming music. So for me, I've had to reinvent myself so many times that I felt, for me, it was never like, oh, yo, I'm made. or yo, I'm famous, or yo, I've made it in life, or I'm popular. For me, the day I finish or quit music, or give up, or turn my back to it, is the day I feel successful. And I'm saying that from the bottom of my heart, and that means because I'm done with it. The day I quit music, the day I turn my back to it, will be the day I say, yo, okay, I did something. I done some madness there. But bro, that never changed for me. Yes, reinterpreting what you said, I did feel weird when people started noticing me, and when people started taking pictures, and
when you're out with the family and you're getting stopped.
And I started seeing numbers, sell units. And I started seeing video stream numbers, YouTube numbers. When I started seeing all that, and I started seeing an attention, yeah, it was different. It was weird. But I was never the one to kind of like be too overwhelmed by it. I found it strange. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the attention. I was proud of it. But at the same time, I didn't let it get to me, because, bro, I think if I let it get to me, my head would have been gone.
Do you think it was a little bit easier that you didn't have mainstream social media at that time when you were blowing up? Because it wasn't like what it is now, where you have access to people 24/7.
Yeah.
I think at that time, celebrities were almost more like they felt even more special because you didn't have direct access to them all the time. And when you saw them, it was like, wow, like this is Mumsy Stranger.
Yeah.
Did that help? Obviously, you only have the perspective of you at the time.
Yeah, I think what you're saying, I think it was more limited, you know, that word limited edition. So if you had a magazine ad, it was a big deal. If you had a radio interview, it's a big deal. If you had a little TV slot, it's a big deal. And I feel that, you know, that you're talking on the hundreds, bro. Now we're on the millions. There's so many platforms. There's so much that I can turn around and tell you there's probably 20 apps and I use 4 when I should be using 20. And that comes from that background, that experience where I come from, and my answer to that for you will be, it's about face value, innit? I think that there's 2 types of popularity. There's one that you're famous online because you've got numbers, people know who you are, blah blah blah, and then you got the other one where you still got all that, but when people see you, they know that, yo, this person's got face value. This person knows how to speak. This person knows how to carry themselves. This person actually cares about us.
It's not just numbers like metrics.
That's it. So I felt like back then, I had more of a connection. I went to the interviews and I saw more and I felt more and I experienced more. Where now, behind the phone,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much I feel or I experience, because it's just on the phone. Comments come up, bam, yeah, liked, bam. That's the end of that.
Mm-hmm.
So the interaction is less, you know. And I'm not saying that people who are doing it now are not doing well. They're killing it, and I admire them. But
I think one thing, you know, knowing you, I think you have always been real, but you've also always been able to separate yourself from the celebrity of Mumsy Stranger. When you're sitting with people, even if it's your fans, you try to connect with them on a deeper level.
It's important.
People don't know how to do that.
You know what? It's hard, you know. And again, I think that's to do with choice and insecurity. You know, for me, I don't think I've ever been an insecure person like that. I'm a loudmouth, man. When I see a crowd, I just want to make them laugh, or I just want to be loud, you know? I want to be the loudest person in the room. And that comes from confidence and upbringing. So I feel a lot of people who are insecure, it's not that they might not want to do that, but they just might not know how.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're worried that, oh, how do I look? Oh, they're worried that, what's people going to think of me? And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, there's quiet people and then you got loud people. But I do feel a lot of people get lost in social media.
In the fame of it.
And back then, answering your question, I don't think we got lost in social media because it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to get lost in.
I think you also expressed your thoughts in the music.
Yeah, 100%.
As opposed to, you know, just talking about things online.
Yeah. It's like social media today, man, it's a different world. It's a lot to handle and take care of.
100%. So let's go back to the story. So you're blowing up now with Rish.
Yeah.
Things are going great. You're touring around the world. Then what's the next part of the story from there?
Do you know what? I think the whole situation then was to get involved in a record label. And I think the whole, you know, the vision was to be signed to a label, because that's the era I come from, being signed to a label. You know, they give you an advance, and you have a professional outfit who's putting out music. You know, because bro, money don't grow on trees, innit? You can't just you can self-invest, but it was hard back then. Everything cost more, and there was always an in-betweener.
It was always a middleman.
There was always a middleman or a middle service or something to do, and that was the time then. So for us, the next thing was to, you know, put music out and have a label. And then that's where Tiffin Beat Records came along. Jamal Hirani, he literally came along and saw the vision with me, Rish, H. Like, yo, let's do a label, man. I think you guys can make this work. So we basically, long story short, we come up with the label concept. He was the main guy for Tiffin Beat, and we literally just started putting out tunes. The first one was One More Dance. One More Dance.
Iconic.
Bro, I remember it was mad. Like, that was the first video I ever shot, ever did, you know, on my own, yeah. And I was like, yo, this is crazy, you know, like I had a hat and they put hat styling. It was overwhelming, right? And I think that week I shot 3 videos. It was One More Dance, Showgirl, and Runaway. So it was almost like you're in a shallow end, and now, bam, you're in a deep end. And that's how it was, you know? Obviously, it wasn't like now, where you can make 50 tracks and put them out. It had to be planned. There was a process of doing things, and things took a little bit longer. You know, you could put a track out in Jan, and that tune will run for like 12 months, even longer. You know, now you put a tune out in Jan, people are bored. They want one in end of Jan. So for me, it was overwhelming, bro. And I think at that point, that's when I started feeling important, and I felt like, yo, man, this could actually go somewhere. And One More Dance was a great introduction to my career. I wouldn't change that. You know, even a remix of H, mate, I can't believe we didn't shoot a video for that. I still till today, me and him talk like, yo, we didn't shoot a food. Why didn't we shoot a video to the One More Dance remix? Was we going mad? But yeah, man, that was crazy. For me, that was when it started. When we all joined Tiffin, and, you know, we were like, it was on a high. And yeah, man, you know what they say, bro, you throw a plane up in the air, it's got to go up and come back down. You know, and that's life, man. So for me, it went up, it was all going good, and then eventually, bro, things just like, yo, what's going on here? You know, and that's another chapter, man. That's another chapter right there.
So then how do you then transition to the next point?
Bro.
And when you say going down, maybe give people a little bit more context. Obviously, we don't want to necessarily go into too much, but
no, it's cool.
Just
Listen.
The journey, you know.
Yeah. I'll say
for them to know what it means.
You know when the thing you gotta understand, when we're in the era, when we're in a gen, when we're in a period of time, you know, you're gonna be flying and you're gonna be enjoying that time. Now, whether you're at the beginning of it or the end of it, if you're at the beginning of it, you're gonna have a nice, you know, flight up. If you're at the end of it, it might seem like you're dying, or you're at the end of it and you're falling. Not really, bro. If you're going down, you're only gonna
level up
and then go back up somewhere else. And for me, I felt like I've always been a cross between transitions, you know, like analog to digital, and that was that time. No word of a lie. In 2009-10, I felt like the CDs, all of that was dying.
Okay.
That was it. Journey Begins, my album, came out on CD. One More Dance came out on CD. Soon as all that was done, slowly that transition, you know, that transition of
there's
analog,
a huge
digital,
change. Yeah,
massive.
It's a huge change.
So for me, at that time, record labels, managers, you know, all that was changing, bro. Like, it's not like it's not here now, but at that time, independence and independent artists started growing, and people started leaving labels, and people started getting into problems and contracts, and so much jargon that you don't even understand at that time, because you don't want to understand.
You want to focus on the music.
Yeah, you just sign your life away, and you're like, yo, this will be alright, because you don't have anything anyway at the time. So, and
but why do you? Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit, because you mentioned jargon, and you mentioned like you know, you don't really want to know about it. You just sign it. You want the advance, and that's the kind of situation you're in. But there's so many artists in the mainstream, also in the in smaller niches as well, genres, that they at that time they got trapped. And I think a lot of people have now started talking about some of the things that were going on 10 years ago. But give us the perspective of what you were going through at that time, because I think a lot of people say, why don't you get a lawyer, or why don't you read your contract? So in that moment, what was going through your mind?
You know what it is, bro, yeah? I'll be straight. Like, at that time, you know, I can say I was one of them artists. I don't want to use the word trapped, because I knew what I wanted. I knew what I wanted. I knew where I wanted to be. And I didn't know what I was doing, because how can you know what you're doing if you've never done it before? That don't even make no sense. You know, like, for me, I knew, hold on, I'm a Bengali kid from East London. Am I gonna, should I be sitting here? Because I swear down, there's probably another 1,000 guys that would want to be sitting here where I am. Correct?
100%.
So I was like, nah, I'm gonna go for this. So what comes after is unpredictable. You know, and I was in a contract, and yeah, you know what, it felt like I was stuck.
What's some of the limitations,
bro? Back then, you got to follow the rules. You know, you have to listen to your management, and you have to listen to your producer. You know, I felt the creative side was okay. You know, like, you can always get in the studio and make music, and you know, that's any time, any period. If you're not in your zone, you're not gonna sing properly. That's just the way it is. But there are restrictions back then, bro. You can't go there. You can't do this. You got to follow that. You got to dress a certain way. There was pressure. If there's 80 shows this month, you're doing all the 80 shows. I don't care if you're tired. I don't care what you're doing.
They were focused only on the finances.
Yeah, finances, more so. Yeah.
Let's cram everything in.
Yeah,
basically.
let's do it. Yeah, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but what I am saying is at the time it was more about the labels and less about the artists.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we would get the shorter end of the stick. I'll say it how it is. I don't care. I'm not gonna hide that. I felt that the artists, the creative people, got the shorter end of the stick. Some artists, some creative people got more. They were cool, but 100%, bro, I was definitely one of them who got the shorter end, and I was like, yo, man, it's nice, but it can be nicer.
There should be more.
Should be a little bit more. You know, you shouldn't be stressed. You know, when you're stressed, that's not cool. I don't care how creative, how talented you are, and how successful you think you are. You can't be stressed. You gotta be happy, and you gotta be on it, 100. And if you're not on that, and you're not happy, you need to either find another way, or you need to stop what you're doing. And for me, bro, I just felt like this isn't where I want to be. I need to start making my own decisions, and I'm gonna close that door now. You know, I didn't fall out with anyone. I just made a decision to not be there anymore. You know, it was a great journey. I appreciate everything at the time, but for me, I was like, nah. I was at a breaking point. I was like, yo, 2012. I was like, nah. I need to get this back in my own hands. You know, I need to bring my career.
Be in control.
Not in a selfish way, but I needed my creativity, and I felt that at the time my creativity died. And for me, if my creativity died, I don't care what label or what manager or who you are. If I'm not creatively on it, why do I even need you? Correct? I want to be creative first.
There's no output without the
when
talent.
I'm creative and I'm happy and I'm good, I'm ready to execute what I want to do, then people can get involved, because you're going to get 100 from me. You're going to get me in it. I'm the person, right? I'm the creator.
That's what you want. That's what they want.
Exactly. So for me at that point, you know, I was like, yo, I need to say bye to the past. Remember everyone, obviously. Appreciate everything. But I was like, nah, I need to now find myself again. And that's when I took it back to the drawing board. I was like, yo, I need to like find my own path and, you know, just revamp my style and revamp my sound. And I did that, man, you know, and that's where DJ Lion, my little bro, Timeless London, it was like a new chapter. You know, my wife especially, she's been such a, I don't think people rate their other half much, man. You know, I see so much going on in the world, but I'm gonna turn around and I say it, bro, like, I'm blessed.
I think you got lucky though,
bro. Lucky, not lucky, I feel that 100%, you know, but I feel that for me,
it's a two-way thing though.
Yeah, it was important for me to have the right people with me at that time, because for me it was like, yo, I'm either gonna turn my back to this, or I'm gonna do something with this.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I was. And I felt at that moment, the right people were with me, you know. I've always had a saying, and I'm going to share it, yeah? And this ain't, I'm not going to name drop, I'm not going to say nothing to no one. I'm going to tell you how it is, yeah? A lot of people, they get on the ship. So say I got my ship, I got my boat. So I'm rowing, I'm not complaining. Yeah, jump on. So these people come on the boat, and what do? They're putting holes in it. Yeah? Because they're trying to find their own way. Cool, no problem. But they're putting holes in my boat while I'm doing all the rowing. Yeah, what happens to me eventually?
Sink.
I sink, innit? So everyone's where they want to be. I don't care. I don't need no credit or nothing. I'm not even looking for that. I'm rowing, bro. I'm rowing. I'm sinking now. These people ain't on saving me. They're on their own little boats. They're gone. Everyone's gone, right? So I'm like, alright, cool. I've sunk. But bro, I haven't sunk, bro. I've gone down. I've become a submarine. That's what a lot of people don't realise. That I had a submarine waiting underneath. But it was for me only. It could only fit me. So bro, I'm back in that submarine. Now I've come back out. Guess what? That was the next chapter for me. You understand? Because you need to have your own platform. Your own... If you don't have that platform ready for you, yourself, like, you need to come first. If you don't appreciate, bro, that platform that you created, bro, it's gonna kill you. So for me, it's always gonna be me, and then everyone else. You understand what I'm trying to say to you?
But at that time, when you had gone through that situation, you also brought a whole new wave of talent with you.
100%. That was something that's a part of my creative side, and I'll say it like and that's what I'm saying. When I've come back now as a submarine, I'm like, okay, what's next? And for me, bro, I don't care how small I have or how much I have. I will always help. I'll always be looking out for talent, and that's the side of my creative side that draws to that. Because I got my own studio and I've always loved music, so I love people's vocals and I love what people can bring to the table, you know, and that's what's always drawing me to talent. So that will always be there, you know. But my main focus at that moment was, okay, let's see where this can go now.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where I was like, okay, there's a producer, okay, who's coming to the table? Because I'm not afraid. Just because something bad happens, it doesn't mean you should become sour and give up and turn your back.
You have to keep going.
You have to keep going. That is the way the world works. Some people will like creep up in the corner and they'll just stay there and they'll just be scared. I don't think that's the way, man. I don't think my goal is to be alone, and my goal is to be lonely in this game or any field, bro. But for me, you have to have faith, and I felt at that moment the right people came, and I was on my next journey, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, actually, bro, which is quite cool, I think that's when R&B singers started. So R&B singers like myself started singing Desi music. But I've never sung Punjabi, I've never sung Bengali, none of that. But I started mixing the language because I felt that was another change within our music industry.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a different journey.
Let's talk about some of the names
Yeah.
that you essentially brought into the industry. And I think they won't mind you saying that because I'm sure they'll be thankful of same way you had Rish, they had you.
Why don't you say the names? I think that's better. I would feel better if you told me what you witnessed or recognised.
Tasha Tar.
Okay, Tasha come through Rishi.
And then was a part of
the Munda, big tune.
And then Janai Kaden.
Yep.
Who else? Lion, TJ Lion.
TJ Lion.
Anyone else?
Bro,
there was so many.
So many. Like,
obviously,
DJ
Nish
Lion
came down
later.
further down the line.
But there's so many to mention, you know. Like,
it was the Stranger Family.
Remy, there's so many of them. You know what I mean? But yeah, like, there were so many people that I've worked with and I've had, you know, a relationship with and a connection, and it's crazy because everyone's kind of like, a lot of people have gone their own way, which is cool, man. There's nothing, for me, I've never had that cruel intention of like, yeah, man, you gotta be here with me, serve me. Nah, bro, I'm not on that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not, because if I quit music tomorrow, then what happens to them? You know, they've got to be ready for what's next for them. So I've never, I believe in business. Don't get me twisted, bro. There's a business side, and I've made some foolish moves in the past, you know, where I've not looked out for myself, and I've kind of given too much. But it's calm. Like, for me, you live and learn. You know, I don't regret my mistakes, and I don't regret anything I did right or wrong. But the point is, there's always a business side, and I think once you can keep cool with your business side and you can keep loyal and there's a healthy relationship, then it will never bite you. It will never go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It can only go wrong if you start making things go wrong. I don't know if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
That's within
you,
business.
You mentioned like throughout your career you had to reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
And what I think is throughout your journey, as you reinvented yourself, you always found people to grow with you.
Yeah.
You had a platform. I'm now going to reinvent myself, but I'm also going to bring this person with me.
Yeah.
And that's something that your whole journey has similarity in. So we had the stranger family kind of situation. Talent was growing. You were the heir to the music as well, the production side, getting involved in music.
Yeah.
And then Mumsy kind of
Faded
a little bit.
100.
So what happened?
What happened, bro? Like, if you look at the simplicity of it, if someone's an artist and someone's a producer, and they're too busy producing, what happens to the artist?
You forget about your own music.
You don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt at that moment, like I said, did things that I had to do. You know, I was a part of a label, and I was like, yo, you got to produce for that person. Yo, you got to make this. And some things I did because I was happy to do. Some things I did because I had to do. Yeah, and I don't like I said, I don't regret anything. But it was difficult. It was only I understand how it feels to sit on this chair and produce and vocal comp and do all the shit jobs. I might have to swear.
Yeah.
Yeah, do all the shit jobs and basically be that side man, innit? You know, the one that no one wants to do them hard jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that.
The real graft.
Yeah, and then on the same evening I've had to get up and go and perform now because now Mumsy's got a show tonight. You know, like I've been there. And it was hard, man.
You're wearing loads of hats.
Yeah, it was hard, man. And I know how that feels. I know how it feels to sit on the chair and then go and be on the mic. And that's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't... You can do both of them
At this
together.
point, what year are we talking now?
We're talking 2011.
Okay.
Yeah, 2011, 12. So it was like 10, 11, 12. After my first album, Journey Begins, after that. So it was quite a small period of time when all this happened.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, bro, like it's not easy. I'm not saying you can't do both, but it's hard, you know. And I have a family as well. It's very hard, like to be able to juggle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying, like I said, it's not impossible, but you really need to experience it to know if you can handle it.
Do you think that even as you learned things about the industry and as you grew, there still wasn't support in the Asian scene, how there is in different genres of music?
Yeah.
The reason why I say that is because obviously recently, you know, in recent years, you've now, I think the scene has come a bit more together.
Yeah.
One part of that as well, one reason for that.
Yeah.
But I think there was also a lot of segregation. Like, it's almost it's a mentality almost in the Asian community that we don't want them to win as much as us.
Okay.
And I find that happens so much in any industry, in just in our community.
Amongst Asians or the music industry?
Amongst Asians.
Amongst Asians. You know what it is? It's a difficult...
It's like they want you to win, but not more than them.
Do you know what? Amongst... Like, I'm just saying, I'm talking mentality. Like, if you look at this country in general, if you compare United Kingdom to America, you'd notice that America isn't segregated the way the United Kingdom is. And I'll give you an example. Hot 97 is Hot 97 in America.
Mm-hmm.
Billboard is Billboard.
Mm-hmm.
In the UK, you'll have something for this section of music. You have that for that section of music. Then you got this for that section of music. So if you've segregated like 4 or 5 genres, how can one of them grow? You know, like and I'm coming to what the question that you asked. If you've already segregated all the genres, like this station is for that kind of music, this station is for that kind of music. Music's music. Like, what do you mean? Like now, Spanish music plays everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think, Spanish music's gonna have a Spanish station.
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
No.
You don't.
It's gonna come on normal radio.
It's because it's popping, right? And again, it's coming from South America. It will pop because like I said, they don't care about where you're from or what you do. If your music's popping, it's popping. Now, coming back to us, I feel with our scene, a lot of people feel that because it's a certain area, they want to rule. Like, yo, this is our scene, and I want to be the ruler, and I'm gonna rule forever. Because they're worried, they're insecure, they're thinking, if they let someone else in, or if they collaborate, or if they go on, that person's gonna become bigger, bro. It's silly.
Small-minded thinking.
It's pathetic, you know. And collaboration has always been the biggest tool of music. Collaboration. You know, Quincy Jones, Michael Jackson. I don't know. I'm just gonna say that. Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, that market, bro. Even if you go to Bollywood, it's not even that bad. People collaborate. You know, people collaborate with each other. But point of what I'm saying is people are scared because it's like a small land. And bro, now this small land is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You can't stop us because our music, the Desi urban music, is coming through now. You'd notice that. I'm just gonna come to the claimants. Claimants, yeah. You got people who are huge, who have so much power within our scene, but you would not be able to even tell me if they've helped another artist or brought someone through. They will tell you, yeah, man, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. I'm this, I'm that. But what have you done for the scene? You won't even find a trail of artists. But then you come to certain people who've got small power. But then you got a whole football team of artists that have helped with small power. It's the mentality. It's the mentality. Whether you got a lot, whether you got a small, it don't matter. Are you willing to help? Are you willing to bring people in?
It goes down to morals though, and legacy.
Yeah. You understand? And again, it's the mentality. It's about, are you willing to do it? And that all comes to do with understanding the word collaboration. Not being scared to share your music. Not being scared to work with people. I'm not saying go and work with everyone and do what you want. Bruv, work with people you connect with, innit? Like, if you don't connect with someone, you're not going to work with them, innit? It's simple. But the point I'm trying to make is collaboration is key. You can't be afraid of it. You need to, our music is now becoming a scene. And you would see, again, the claimants, the people that looked at our scene maybe like 5, 6, 7 years ago. Oh, no, I don't want to make Desi music. I don't want to do none of that. I want this producer and that. I want to go mainstream. Okay, is mainstream a train? Is it are you gonna get on that train and go mainstream? Because I want to get on that train. Do you want to tell me where it is? Nah, that's not the right mentality. You see the same people, bruv, the same people that said no, Desi urban is not cool, man. You'll see them same people now working with Desi urban artists because they're popping. Yeah, because the hard work's been done, innit, in the last 5, 6 years. People who've been doing it, are now popping. You can't stop music. You can't stop good music. So now people are understanding. And you know what? If they have turned themselves and now they're thinking, yo, this is a scene, it's good because the more people that grow the scene, it's got to become a movement. The Spanish market blew because it became a movement. K-pop blew because it became a movement. Afro beats blew because it became a movement.
Drill music.
Drill, trap, everything blew, bro, because it was a movement. They weren't afraid to... there's going to be wars between some artists and some people. That's normal. But it's still a movement. People are sharing each other's music. People are like, yo, we're going to do this together. And I feel now, bro, now it's happening. And I'm happy. I'm proud. Because I didn't turn my back to it. And I didn't think, nah, I'm too good for this.
Before we get into your comeback, per se, you went through a few difficult years after you had kind of gone in that transition of, being a producer, being an artist, doing everything in between, business side of things. And then you kind of fell a little bit ill. It kind of took a toll on you, the years that you were doing everything and late nights and balancing family life and the craziness. So what happened for you in around 2015?
2015. Basically, 2015, I started having 2015, I started having episodes of vertigo. It was mad. My head would spin, I'll start sweating. I was feeling sick, I wanted to, my body was shut down. And then I realised at that point that I'm not well, I'm not feeling good. I'm getting to shows and I'm not ready to do this, So I went in for an emergency scan, and checked myself up, and I was diagnosed with vertigo and Meniere's disease. For those who don't know, that's when you have like more water on the left side of your ear and your brain, and that causes an imbalance. And that was from literally my lifestyle from the last 15 years where I've been on the road, traveling, planes, this and that, done so much, like, and eating at the wrong time, eating bad food, and just my body just had enough. And I just felt at that moment, them 2 years, bro, like it was so difficult. 2015, 16, 17, I was on like tablets and I had to like sort myself out and find a new way. But you know what? I've never really spoken about it properly, but it was a scary experience because I felt at that minute, I was like, stop driving. I was like, I don't think I can do music and I don't think I can do anything anymore. My body don't want to fight. Like it's, I was like bedridden most of the days, but eventually, man, it just, I don't know, man, I just started getting better. I started believing, started eating a little bit better, and just, like, what they say, man, that mental health is so important. Don't matter how sick you are, don't matter what you're going through, you should be the one to decide your fate. You should be the one to decide if you're going to get up and do better for yourself. And that's exactly what it was, bro. And I had great people around me, my family, and everyone just supporting.
How did you do it though? Because obviously you were going through your own thing. The reason why I asked that is because people are going through a difficult time right now, especially with mental health. And I think it's being a bit more spoken about. How did you get out of that dark place?
Do you know what? I just felt like when I was especially going through the illness, A, obviously I was taking the right medication, but B, it was about the sacrifice. It was about giving up the things that affected me, the bad food and certain things. And I'm not saying, bro, I'm the most healthiest eater, because I'm not. I eat anything.
But the lifestyle was crazy at that time.
Yeah, the lifestyle. And I think also just resting. I think it's important that you need to give your body a rest, and you need to appreciate the things that are keeping you going, and not put attention to things that you don't even have, things that are not important. And at that moment, I think the willpower, like for me it was willpower and just discipline. It was the discipline that got me out of that, that really bad place. And bro, when I started like feeling better and I could drive, I was like, yeah, man. And I started writing music again, and I thought, yeah, I need to get back on this. So I think it's more to do with willpower, man. And like I said, I don't know if my words can help someone, because I don't know, you need to be around the right environment as well. And if you're not, get help. Like don't be afraid. If you're not in the right environment, get help. Go and get the right attention, go and get the right advice and right treatments. Don't just shut off. And I know that's easy said. It sounds like, oh yeah, he's just saying it. No. 2021, whatever you're going through, I think just talking, even if you talk to a stranger, trust me, you find some light.
Don't isolate yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
And then fast forward, you eventually did get through that, which is the light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, and then we saw Mumsy return with new hairstyle, new facial
mohawk
hair.
Ended there and then. Bro, you know what? It was mad. Like for me, the next step was fun. Like
I feel like you've really found yourself now. Over the past two years, I think you've now adapted out of that transition period. You've understood the market. You spent time. I think the family is also a big part of that. And I think now you've really like cemented your legacy in a different way, and you're having bigger songs than you've ever had, almost in a different way.
Do you know what? It's again, I'm gonna give props to my team, and it's so important that I do that. DJ Lion, for those who don't know, I met Lion about now 9 years ago, and he's been a backbone to me, my vision, what I'm doing, what I did. He's always been there, very talented. I said it to everyone. DJ Lion is probably one of the most talented producers I've ever worked with, and bro, he is ahead of his game. I'm saying that boy is 10, 15 years ahead of what he's doing right now.
And for a long time, his face was hidden. He was just focused on the music.
And he suddenly just took his mask off. And I just think, again, it's a choice for him. Everyone goes through different changes, and he definitely goes through a lot of changes. But Lion, big him up. He's a backbone of the crew. Very talented. Never says no. Always delivers. 100%. Then moving on to Nish. Bro, what can I say?
Get well soon, bro.
Yeah, man. Nish, what can I say? Nish brought something to the table that was crazy, and that was, you know, Bengali language mixed with R&B, you know, Desi, Hindi, Punjabi. I think he came as a force on his own. And when I met Nish, he had a guitar, very talented. You know, he had music in him. You could see when I met him, he could play the guitar. He knew what he was doing. He just didn't know how to put it all together. Me and Lion met him together, and it's been about 5 years. And Nish, he was like a shark, bro. Like he just came in and that chomp chomp chomp. He just took a bite at everything, picked it up, learnt it. Brought Bangla urban scene. Like, remember, I'm Bengali, but I don't sing Bengali. You know, I don't write Bengali the way he does. So props to him, man. Like he came in. The team got bigger. Me, Nish, Lion, and then Rupika, big her up. She's from Sweden. She's another artist I work with. Very, very, very talented singer. Great voice. And then moving on to my team, my filming, man. Sachin, Raju Mamu, we call him Mamu. There's so many people. Rivers, you know, Zubi, the team, Diamond Jules. Like, bro, the team just got bigger, you know.
And you also, I think, became very good at the business side of music.
Sorry, Nish's brother, huge backbone.
Yeah.
He's been there with us in the tours and everything. Like, you know, my wife, she's like boss of me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if I've missed out so many people, but there's so many important people amongst our crew. Like just the network, the network of friends, you know, who.
I think the people that you found at this time, you know, of recent years, I think they understood you a little bit more, and they valued you a little bit more.
You know, it's the respect. I think, you know, it's respect, it's the love, and it's the trust. You know, if you don't have that, you know, I'm not even looking for loyalty. Nah, I don't want no loyalty. I'm not looking for people to come to me and say, yeah, let's stay together forever, brother. I want loyalty from my family, you know, and I want loyalty from people who want to believe that they owe me that. But bro, when it comes to music and when it comes to business and that, loyalty is difficult, you know, because some people want to come, learn and go. Some people want to come, be a part of you, learn, stay and go. So it's difficult, you know. You can't just bark at people. So for me, my rule amongst us lot is, guys, you want to do your thing, do it. You want advice, you get it. But do me a favour. I go, what? When Avengers need to assemble, let's assemble for each other.
Let's come together.
Yeah, and that's what we do. The team that we have right now, we do that. You know, we get together when we need to. We help each other when we need to. Whose song needs to be written? Whose EP needs to get finished? Let's go. If this is your time, we're going to give that time to you. And I think every business, anyone who's in a business or any environment right now, this is important. You can't get jealous. You can't try to kill each other. Don't matter if you're in the same game. You can't go and kill each other, and you can't think that you're better or you're going to steal that person's idea or you're going to bury that person. You need to come together and use each other's resources.
Do you think that's the key? That's the key of, because a lot of our artists and, you know, people in the scene, they come to you for advice as, you know, the older brother or the person who's been through it and understood the label side and the independent side. And I think, you know, maybe there's artists, young artists, aspiring artists that are watching this right now, and they want to know from the man himself, what is the key? What is the one thing that you could narrow down to?
Bro, you need to, like I said, use each other's resources, but I think it's important to be honest. You know, like, one thing, and I'll say it how it is, and it's very difficult for me to make this easy to understand, but I'll try my best to explain it. You know, there's a lot of people out there that want freebies, or there's a lot of people there that don't appreciate someone's work or don't appreciate what someone does. It's not what the person does, and it's not what the person can do, or it's not the person it's not about what's given to you or what you're taking. It's time. It's time. It's not about anything else. It's time. So when you want someone's time, ask them how much. Just ask them how much. Or if it's not about money, ask them what's happening here. What can I do for you, and what can you do for me? This is what I want. What do you expect from me? Have an understanding. They call it a contract. They call it an agreement. So my advice to everyone is, if you're going to do something with someone, have that simple rule of explaining what you expect from each other.
And that's not just in music, that's in any business relationship or even relationship.
It's important. And don't be afraid to pay. You know, like if you're going to go somewhere and it's, okay, yeah, I'm getting something from that person. When you revisit, pay them. Pay them. Their love will grow for you. Just pay them. And the same, it's like you. If you've got something to offer, you'd want payment. And this is where a lot of the arguments and this is where a lot of the fights and the problems start, is when you start abusing each other's time. Don't abuse time, because everyone's time is important. Everyone has families, everyone has things to do, everyone's got bills to pay, everyone's got things going on in their life.
And time is running out.
Yeah,
we're living
time.
in...
Exactly. So my thing straight away, I don't care what you do, where you come from, just appreciate people's time. If it's a little bit of time you want, take it. If it's a lot of time you want, ask them what they want for their time. That's it. And bro, you trust me when I say this, yeah? The scene will get bigger and better if you start using each other's resources. You'd realise that, bro, it's not as bad as it looks. You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's important, man. Very important.
So much value from this episode. I could go all day, but obviously we've got...
I talk a lot.
Yeah, we've got time limits. I think, you know, this... I think a lot of people haven't really heard your story, because over the years there's interviews and there's the music, but I think you haven't really done something like this. So that's why I was trying to get you on for so long.
Yeah, listen, it's so important. Like, all I will say to everyone is, I appreciate everyone that's listening, watching, supporting. At the end of the day, it's you people that make us, and we appreciate you. And B, I'm making the best music I've ever made in my life. I'm happy and I'm content with what's going on, and all I wish is everyone can just get along, work together, make things happen, and just I hope you and your families, you know, stay safe and be strong, man. There's light at the end of the tunnel. After hardship comes ease, and I end it at that.
Before we wrap up though, let's have a little bit of fun.
Go on then.
So we call this the quick fire questions, or rapid fire questions.
Let's go.
So this is literally just say the answer as quick as you can. We're gonna try and get through all of it. We've got a minute. We've got the timer as well. It's been quite serious, so I think people want to know a little bit more about Mumsy Stranger on a personal level.
Let's go.
Okay. Night in or night out?
Night out.
Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
AJ or Fury? Boxers.
AJ.
Freedom or hope?
Freedom.
Texting or calling?
Texting. No, calling. I prefer calling.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Winter or summer?
Summer.
Passenger or driver?
Driver.
Early riser or night owl?
Night out.
Night owl, working late, yeah?
Yeah,
okay. Nice car or nice home?
Nice home.
iOS or Android?
iOS.
Pizza or burgers?
Burgers.
Cardio or weights?
Cardio.
Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Comedy or horror?
Comedy.
Okay. I think, you know, for one thing that I know I can say about you is, we beat the timer, by the way. One thing that I can say, yeah, you beat the timer, you did it really quick. One thing I would like to say is, you know, you're such a down-to-earth person. Not only do you support people along the way, but you just try to bring them happiness, a bit of laughter.
Sure.
And so it wasn't surprising to see that you like comedy. But, you know, I think people don't really give you enough props, in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
No, you're entitled.
And that's why I think this was so important. This was needed. I think this was needed for years. And so I'm really, really glad that we got it. So for anyone that, you know, has learned about you for the first time today, obviously you've got a lot of music out right now. So why don't you plug yourself a little bit?
You know what? So currently the music that I have out, so I've got an album called Vertigo, which came out, I felt it came out in 2019, but because of COVID, I feel that it's still there, you know, like, so go and check that out. I've got an EP called 5 Reasons, which came out not long ago. I've got singles, loads of singles out, you know, Got loads of tracks of Nish. Go and check them out. Stream them. Got a track called Jugni Ji, which is out of Kanika Kapoor and
which is like going crazy.
Mate, it's everywhere.
I think over 10 million views now.
Yeah. So I think it was on 20 actually.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's so much music. Like literally, just go and stream. Like one thing I will say is at this time, like artists like us that we're not performing. You know, we're not earning from performances, and we've been like literally just cut off from, you know, performing live. So right now, people who are streaming our music, it's so important that you guys know that every time you stream, we earn. Every time you play my music, my family eats. Every time you guys go on YouTube or Spotify or iTunes or you guys go and do that, I'm eating. And you're giving me life. You're giving me a lifestyle where I can come back and make music. So please just bear that in mind, that any musician, it doesn't have to be me, go and listen to their music. Like, go and stream them, go and support them, because what you're doing is you're just allowing them to pass this dark time so they can come back and make music for you. So yeah, I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
And for anyone that wants to follow you, what's the best place to follow you?
Instagram, Mumsy Stranger. I think TikTok, Triller. It's all the same. YouTube, Mumsy Stranger Music. And I think they're all the ones I use, man.
I'll put it in the description as well.
Yeah.
But thank you for doing this.
Nah, man. Listen, I appreciate it. I'm proud of you. This is great. I'm loving this, man. That where you're going with this, and I hope that it gets bigger and better. And I hope my experiences, and you know, this podcast reaches people and, you know, gives them a little vibe.
100%.
Yeah, man.
If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching to the end and listening to the end. Be sure to subscribe and be sure to support Mumsy, because this guy, he doesn't stop and he's just going to keep going. So be sure to support.
Wicked, man. Peace.